Hi everyone, my name is David and welcome to Inclusive Classroom Strategies. This is a 3-credit class through Viterbo University and I'm glad to be your instructor. My name is David Perrodin. I do have a Ph.D. from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in Educational Leadership and Policy Analysis, where I studied high-stakes decision-making across a number of industries. I've taught with Viterbo for 14 years and love it. It's a great place, so I'm glad that you're here. I have significantly updated this class, so I think you're going to enjoy a lot of very contemporary materials. What I'm doing right now, this is an introduction to class. So what I want you to do is go in to Moodle. I've opened the class up early. It does not start until January 16th, but you can go in, you can test drive it, you can download some of the materials, download the syllabus, check things out. I ask that you don't post though until the 16th. On the 16th I need you to post. It's a requirement to show that you have access to the class. It's very important for financial aid. You will go in the class and you'll only see, like the first week of class. It's set up that way. After the first week, then I open up the second week, then I open up the third week, but then the first and second week they still stay there. And eventually, once we get toward the end, I'll kind of open up, like the last 3 all at once. So let me tell you how the class works. You do have a number of discussion posts that you'll be making, and I want you to be critical in those. You can challenge me, you can challenge statements made by your peers. We do have a big class. I think we have 15 in the class, so go ahead and do that. Be respectful. I will access the class typically daily. The best way to contact me is first, if it's short, just text me, but I'm not speedy with the text, so the other way then would be to email me, or if there's something we would need to talk to on the phone, we could set that up, or Skype or something like that. But typically, Moodle is pretty intuitive, so once you get in, and Viterbo has a number of wonderful tutorials. You can get in and find what you need through the class. So, again, once you get into the class, you will have discussion threads that you'll be doing throughout the class. You do have one book that you're required to purchase. That's in the syllabus. So right away, go in and find the syllabus, download that, and understand what your expectations will be for the class. Completely asynchronous means we'll be doing nothing in real time. I've instructed for 14 years for Viterbo, face-to-face, blended, and asynchronous. A little bit about me. So I have a wife, Debbie, 2 daughters, Michaela and Mackenzie. We have 3 cats. Again, love instructing for Viterbo. Was a special education director for 12 years. Currently serve as a speech-language therapist / therapy department chairperson / and a safety coordinator role with the Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Absolutely wonderful place to work. It's a 1/4 mile long campus, so think about that. Has dorms, has a swimming pool and indoor track, but when you're working on security and how on a facility like that, there's a whole lot to consider, especially with students who are visually impaired, and about half the faculty who are visually impaired. But we do a phenomenal job, wonderful people to work with. So what I want you to get out of this class is we're going to explore a lot of different ideas that have to do with including diverse learners, and we'll focus on things like universal design for learning. The book that you're required to use for this class has a lot of narrative stories in it, which you'll personally get to know a lot of people. I do have a number of videos that I'll share also. The discussion threads will become very rich. I will be doing what's called fireside chats, which is very similar to what I'm doing right now. And in those chats I'll do shout outs. Now we have 15 students, so in smaller classes I can do shout outs if it's 7, 8 students, and typically include everyone. So if I do a shout out, I might include 3, 4, 5 students. If you're not included, please don't feel slighted by that. Not meant to be slighted. It just means I'll look to include you at a different time. But if I find something that someone has posted that is especially intriguing, or that has sparked additional posts on a thread, or someone emails me a question and says, would you please talk more about this, I'll go ahead and do that. So about every week I'll post a video like this, usually about 30-40 minutes long, and people can watch that. Now, if you're not much into watching videos, you can always, there's converters online, free converters, YouTube to MP3, and you can download this as an MP3 and listen to it in your car. You can do that. That'd be absolutely fine. But looking at this class, we're going to again look at a lot of universal design for learning. We'll talk about things like co-teaching. I'm going to have you do a project at the end. It's going to be the Bill Porter plan, where you're going to be watching a short 2020 special done a number of years ago on a man, Bill Porter, who was a door-to-door salesman with cerebral palsy in the Portland, Oregon area. You will imagine Bill as whatever capacity you're working at in a school. So if you're a Title I teacher, if you're a high school social studies teacher, 3rd grade teacher, whatever. If you're not currently a teacher, you're going to have to put yourself into a role of where you eventually see yourself teaching. And then imagine that you've been, talked to by your principal, and you're one of the people in charge then to help Bill acclimate to the school. So you're going to be talking about things like disability awareness, physical environment for Bill, making sure that peers and staff are educated. For example, most people with cerebral palsy have normal intelligence, assistive technology, things like that. It's pretty well laid out. But I mean, there'll be, and that's written in kind of a story format. So it's a fun way to write it. It can be written like, today I was notified by my principal that we have a new student starting in 2 weeks. His name is Bill Porter. So I felt, and he informed me Bill has cerebral palsy. I haven't worked with a student with cerebral palsy in a long time. Here's how I'm going to go about learning more about CP, and take it from there. So, yeah, it's really a neat assignment to kind of undertake. So, again, in an intro to this class, it's open early, so you can go in and get familiar with Moodle, because some people have not taken online classes before. And Moodle did, over the Christmas break, had an update. So nothing really significant changed, but just to go in and it might have a little bit of a different feel on the layout, but everything's pretty similar to what it was. I'm going to update the grade book probably every 3 weeks. So I will post in the announcements. That's where you always want to check, is in the announcements. I'll post and say, hey, updated the grade book as of through this date. So go in and check and make sure everything looks good. So if you don't see your grade posted right after something is due, don't freak out about it. When I do return, for example, like the Bill Porter plan, I print those off, I grade them by hand, I scan them back in and return them to you. So I do put a lot of time into that. So hopefully you'll be getting a lot of feedback from me. But again, with 15 students, if everybody makes 5 posts a day, we're looking at 75 posts. I'm not going to be able to respond to to that many posts. So if you make a post and I don't respond to it, don't feel bad. So this is where I could use the, I don't know, that Hall's mentholypus thing, losing my voice a little bit. But so yeah, don't feel bad about that if I haven't responded. It doesn't mean that I haven't read your posts. And you know, if you do see a score going and I haven't written a comment, doesn't mean that I haven't read it. Just means that I am, you know, making responses. But again, we do have 15 students in the class, which is a very big class. So at any one day, you know, we can easily generate, you know, 70 plus posts. So be active posters. That's the big thing to be successful in class, is get in there and post. So if your peers post a response to a discussion question, jump in there right afterwards and make a post, you know, also. Feel free to share materials. That is great. A lot of people do that. Just make sure it's nothing that your district wouldn't want you to share. But a lot of times districts, you know, generate things, and districts do tend to share things with other districts. So if it's a form that you use, you know, to help with, see, here's sites on, you know, Pinterest that help for universal design, for learning, for, you know, students with sensory needs or whatever. Boom, please share that, please do that. So again, my name is David. I'm excited to teach this class, 626. I've instructed 14 years for Viterbo. Any questions, again, give me a text if it's short. Otherwise, send me an email and I'll get back to you. The class should be pretty easy to follow. I've taught this one a number of times. Again, I've done a pretty significant update to it. A lot of new materials in it this time. If you happen to find a link that's not working, let me know. I check everything, but you know how links tend to go down. Or if there's some discrepancy between the syllabus and actually what's in Moodle, let me know. Once in a weird while, Moodle will pull something from a previous class, you know, like a date. I don't know why that happens, but the system is reliable, and it usually has nothing to do with like what a grade would be or anything like that. But someone might say, this says it's due on July 9th. And it's like, whoa, that shouldn't be. So, but if you notice anything kind of wonky like that, let me know, especially after the update here, that I can go in and make sure that everything is lined up between the two. I do check it out. I run through these things quite a bit, but again, it's the strangest thing, because you can get a class completely up and running, and 2 days later, like, you know, some links can go down, you know, because they've been changed externally somewhere. So you have to find some new things. So, and what I want you to do too in this class is, you know, you don't have to agree with what I say. I'm trying to expose you to some different positions and hopefully evoke some critical responses from you. We will eventually talk about mainstreaming, inclusion, tolerance, and acceptance, terms that I think are very, very different. Mainstreaming and inclusion are used very interchangeably when they shouldn't. And then tolerance and acceptance are significantly different. And we have these programs called Teach Tolerance, which I personally am not a Teach Tolerance person. I think we're better than that we should teach acceptance. I'll tell you why. I mean, we'll get into that more. But when we talk about inclusive strategies, it's going to be very important for you when you exit this course to be able to fluidly define mainstreaming, inclusion, tolerance, and acceptance, and those are big things. I also have a couple things I do is I serve as an expert legal witness throughout the United States in special education cases. I don't do it in Wisconsin, but what I'll do sometimes is I will share things, you know, with you too, if they have, you know, to do with inclusion, just as little pointers of things that I've learned from, you know, cases that I might have been involved in that did have an inclusion, you know, type component. But you know, just anything I can share with you from kind of those anecdotal stories, we'll do those through the fireside chats, and I do look forward to learning from all of you. And that's always the best part, because you enrich this class so much. I create a folder during every class, and it's things that students share with me, and then I try to bring a lot of that forward into the next class. I just got done teaching a course, and I incorporated, you know, probably 8 or 9 things from different students, you know, that went into this class. as I close here, make sure you read through the syllabus and you understand what the expectations are. Once we get to that Bill Porter plan, which is toward the end, I realize that. This class does move kind of fast though, but the reason, people usually do really well on that. If they don't do well, what they do is they write a paper that just does not match the rubric. They just kind of freelance it, and that's costly. So make sure that you're checking out the rubric ahead of time, and that's there for you. But people then just and the rubric isn't sophisticated. It's going to be very black and white on what needs to be there. But that's where people typically would lose points, is they just don't follow the rubric for assignments. So be active posters. Welcome to 626. I got the course open early for you so you can get a comfort with Moodle and with the course. And again, more of the course will appear as time goes on, so don't look at it saying, oh my goodness, where is everything? And any questions, let me know. Otherwise, make sure that January 16th you are posting your introduction to the class. I've posted mine already, so you kind of get an idea. You don't have to post as much as I did. And feel free to post a family photo, a photo of a pet, photo from a vacation, whatever you want to do, so we can make it a little more personable, add a little more context, to the class too. So, again, thank you for choosing Viterbo. I love the university. I really do. I've taught for some different places. But there really is no other institution like Viterbo. Definitely has the priorities in the right place, and has had those priorities in the right place for 100 years. So I'm glad to be here, glad to be your instructor. Any questions, let me know. So look forward to the next few weeks with you here in Inclusive Classroom Strategies. Again, my name is David, and welcome to class.